Well, I'm so excited to have you on this podcast. I loved chatting with you and Luke so much.
It was so fun.
It was so fun. I want to have him on too. I want to have you both. I want to do like couples me time too.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. But I was researching you and I love wine, as you know,
Yes.
and you brought this today and I can't thank you enough. I'm so excited to try it, but this is your own, right?
Yeah, that's our wine. That's our potion number 1. And we have, we had a rosé a couple of years ago that we're holding off on bringing back for the moment because rather than doing like, rosé all day, rosé summer, which I feel like has been going on for years, and it's like, it's a little played out for me. So we're going to bring on a red for summer. And we're going to make red happen for the summer, like red on ice.
I love a chilled red.
Yeah.
Wait.
A nice little light blend. So that'll be the next one.
I'm kind of with you on the rosé all day played out thing. Yeah. And I love that you're like, I don't care that that's been a trend. We're going to start a new one and do.
We did it in like 2018 or 2019. We did the rosé and it was really great, but I'm like, I need a break.
Okay. So what do you have like a varietal? Do you have a favorite, is it like a Gamay? Is it a Beaujolais? Like, what is the...
For the red?
Yeah.
We haven't even chosen it yet. We just got some samples in from our winery that we get to try so we can kind of choose what we want to do. But it'll be like a light blend.
So you get to sample the wines.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to choose it. It's our wine.
You have like my dream. That's like my dream job. Kristen, I'm so excited that you're here to talk about... Well, the podcast, as you know, is called Me Time. And so the idea is, whatever that means to you. And we can wander into all kinds of things. I have so many curiosities about you and this topic and whatever. So we can wander around and you can also just like anything you want to talk about as well, throw on the table.
When you and I were chatting prior to us recording, and I was like, what is my Postmates go-to?
Oh my God. So
it was like the hardest question for me because I was like, well, what is my mood? And when I started like thinking, okay, what do I order? Just like top 3.
Yeah.
And I realized that my trend were carbs. I was like, okay, so this is an ish. I like ramen, vegan Thai, and like Lala's Argentine grill, but I get empanadas and the children's pasta because I'm vegetarian. Maybe like a little Greek salad. But I was like, so carbs are carbs. That's my me time.
Okay. But I love that. That's such a fun, like, okay, so you go to Lala's. Wait, you're not vegan. Are you vegan?
Not vegan.
No, but you like a vegan Thai place, this vegan Thai place.
Yeah.
What is it?
There's one in West Hollywood called Vegan Glory.
Okay.
And there's one in the Valley called Hope.
And what was the first one you said?
Vegan Glory.
No, the first restaurant.
Oh, Lala's Argentine Grill.
And then there was the vegan, and then the third
and ramen.
Carb. Oh, and ramen, yes, which I ordered yesterday.
Yeah.
That's why I always say it. I always think it's curious when people order when it's like, oh, it's just me. What am I having tonight? What do I want? Mine's usually, I love this place, Love to Eat Thai. It's just called Love to Eat Thai Bistro. That's so good. And sugarfish.
Oh, yeah. See, I can't eat sugarfish.
Why?
Because I'm vegetarian and they don't offer anything but what's in. I mean, I like veggie sushi.
Yeah.
But sugarfish is like, this is what you can have.
Yeah.
You don't get a choice.
That is true. And it's simple. That's right. Like their situation is very simple, but it is not vegan friendly at all. Kiwami. Do you know Kiwami in the Valley?
Mm-mm.
Oh, Kiwami's great. They do a lot of, they'll do a lot of vegetarian options if you need.
Note to self.
Yeah, you have to go. And this is what you do. So one of the things we talked about, I remember when we were doing our interview, was that you love a rom-com night.
I love rom-coms.
So you'll order Vegan Glory and watch.
And then I'll binge Leslie Mann movies.
And binge Leslie.
Mm-hmm,
which I absolutely, what's your favorite?
The Other Woman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh. Or I'll watch Sweet Home Alabama, like any good Reese Witherspoon. I don't know. I have so many. Like Just Married. I love Cameron Diaz. So anything she used to do back then.
Yeah.
But that's why I like The Other Woman, because it has both Leslie Mann and
it's got all
Cameron
of your
Diaz.
people.
Yeah.
And then you're like, is that just like your happy night?
It is.
Yeah. Do you drink wine? Do you drink your wine?
Yes, I drink wine. I pet my dogs. I light candles and incense and just binge rom-coms.
You're like a master of me time. That's like, it's not just like one of those things would have been enough for me time, but like the fact that you do all of them is like part of your ritual. I love this. This is exactly what this podcast is sort of about. So I have questions because I feel like for me, this podcast, well, I think I think I mentioned it when we were doing our interview that this was sort of a leap for me. Like I'm super vulnerable. I can't, when it comes to talking about myself, my first instinct is always kind of like, no, I'm good. And I was thinking about you and I was like, man, you were on a show that was for the world to see. Like I'm like, this is hard for me. I can't even imagine like what that must be like. And it made me think about this idea of sort of like me time or retreating or like, how do you feel like yourself? And how you manage the anxiety or the kind of that exposed feeling you must have when you're sort of living your life on camera.
Yeah. I mean, you honestly just want to run away. Like I remember being on Vanderpump Rules, like we would all, of course, we look forward to a longer airing season because we get paid more, clearly.
Right.
But, you know, the filming time can roughly be the same, but then it's like post-production and we're filming all these pickup scenes and the interview bites that you see, like the bobblehead type moments,
Right.
the confessionals.
Like diary stuff, yeah.
Yeah, which the more episodes you have, the longer that stuff takes. And as seasons progressed and the more episodes that we got, the less time that we had in between seasons. So toward the end of my time on Vanderpump, it was like, oh, we have 1 month off, fully 1 month. And all you want to do is disappear. You're just like, go off the grid. I mean, there was one year, I think it was probably my favorite year, a friend of mine, not on the show, one of my best friends, they had friends that owned this private land near Laredo, Mexico, like the middle of nowhere. Phones don't work. You have to, the guys that live on the land, all the farmers and stuff, like they have walkie-talkies. You get picked up in a pickup truck from the airport. And we were there for a week and I charged my phone twice. And it was only because we were using my phone for music.
Wow.
It was just like completely off the grid. And that was the greatest trip I've probably ever taken, including going to like some really fabulous places, right?
Right.
So I think even though it seems really scary and then feeling off the grid for me can be like a little bit of anxiety, like, well, what if someone needs to get a hold of me? Or
of course,
like,
right.
This work thing, or what if something comes up? But it's like, what does it really matter? I just need to go off the grid.
Wow.
So that's kind of like a moment in a whole year. But as far as like the weekly, the nightly, it is kind of just even unplugging from my best friends at times who are like our same cast members because you just don't want to talk about everything anymore.
Right.
It's like escape to the friends that don't care.
So that's so fascinating because if you're working with your best friends, you're sort of living this show with your best friends, then are you then, this is the craziest thing, but I've never seen the show.
I love that.
So I have no idea, but
So a lot of my best friends that are not in the cast are the same way.
Okay.
Like we all have different, you have multiple groups of friends, but this, two of my girl best friends are like, yeah, we don't know that Kristen, like we just know the Kristen that we know. So they don't really find joy in wanting to like look back on those things,
Sure.
and watch it on TV. They're like, we don't need to because we know you.
That's interesting because so you're basically, and I don't know if you're like comfortable saying or talking about this, but like your friends saying basically like, yeah, we know you, we know your life. Like we know. So is it kind of basically that you are living your life just with cameras around so everybody else knows what's going on? It's not, okay.
No, it's
because some are scripted. Some
it's not scripted, but yes, it's produced.
Right, of course.
It's manufactured in a way, and also the show is not about me. The show is about this whole group of people, and then I mean, it's essentially it's. I mean, if you were writing a script about it, right? Like if you were writing a script about that season of Vanderpump Rules, you have to have a beginning, middle, and end. You have to have a story to tell. At least kind of at the end, it needs to come to some sort of conclusion.
Right.
Even though in real life, nothing ever like ends, if you will.
Right.
So if this were like an ongoing series, which it is, let's say it's scripted, like maybe all my cool moments or even bad moments, they don't make it because it doesn't support the story.
Right.
So
Interesting.
Then you become, at times, you can become a one-dimensional human being or a one-dimensional character to these viewers because they're not seeing all the facets of you.
Right.
because that doesn't support the story.
The
story is not about, it's not like, it's not my biography. You know, it's not my memoir on camera.
Sure.
It's about all of us. So you might not get to see all the pleasantries that I have to offer. And that's why my other friends that are not on the show are like, wait.
We don't need to see that.
Yeah. What about like the nice Kristen or like the one that's really like loyal and loving and forgiving and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, Crazy Kristen supported that story a little bit better this year.
Is that what it was? Like, I don't know because that was so there was sort of your the archetype, or, you know, as we would have characters on a show, you were like the one that was a little wild, a little
Crazy Kristen. Like, I will stop it. I was a social justice warrior. I will stop at nothing to make sure those harmed by this person or that situation, it like infiltrating myself into conversations or relationships that were none of my business because I felt like I had to make something right or fix it. Like I'm a big fixer person.
And is that you? Is that a part of your personality? This was just like this sort of bigger, exaggerated version of it, but it's still like a little seed of who you are.
Yeah. And
I mean, that's good.
In the beginning seasons too, where not that it's looking back, I'm like, I guess 28, 30 is like not that young. But now that I'm 40, I'm going like at 30 years old and I'm being pumped full of alcohol and I'm around my ex-boyfriend who's like dating the girl he cheated on me with. And then we all work together. And it's just like this perfect storm that I probably would not have kept myself in had I not been filming a show.
Right. That makes total sense.
You know,
and the dating part too. I feel like when it comes to this me time, I mean, again, I feel like we still talk about like, you also wrote a book. So you're such, it was so funny because I was thinking about you. An open book is such a nice way to describe you. I feel like you're so easy to talk to. You're so down to earth. Like you use a word like Crazy Kristen and I can't even in my head wrap my head around what that would look like. You're so like grounded and so open, like that you disarm anyone sitting across from you, or at least when we did our interview, that's how I feel, and that's also how I feel today. But the dating part as well, which, you know, and obviously you have Luke, we'll get to that in a second, but like I feel like did you find in a couple's way, like couples me time, was there like, oh, there's the relationship that's seen and then we also have this other time? Like, do you get time that's just yours?
In the past on Vanderpump Rules, like, no. And I think that was a huge, I wasn't exactly in the healthiest of relationships in my time on there.
Yeah.
I'd say I had like one good dude that it didn't work out. We were together for years and it was like the only person I'd ever broken up with, which is so crazy.
Right.
And we're still buddies and we share friends and, you know, he has nothing to do with the show anymore. But otherwise, it was like we were just dating each other. I mean, that's kind of why Vanderpump Rules became its own beast because we were all working at this restaurant and then it's like dating the person who works with, we didn't truly in the very beginning, it's like if anyone, you know, that we know has worked at a restaurant, you don't really have social time, especially at night, because that's what you're doing. So if you're working with a bunch of attractive people that are all aspiring to sort of, you know, the very LA thing, like I'm an actor, AKA I'm a bartender.
Right.
And so you're working with people who have the same aspirations and the same night plans. Like that's essentially who you're going to date, especially like in your 20s.
Right.
So
that's normal. Like that's normal though.
Was.
That's like the normal part. It's just that it's being filmed. Like it's normal.
I mean, and there were a lot of infidelities and like a lot of us lived together and it was like 3 best friends dating 3 best friends. I lived with 3 of the guys that were dating my best friends. So that's where it like kind of got really picked up.
Got it.
In its madness on season 1. But yeah, during Vanderpump Rules, I think that's a big lesson that I did learn was I am willing to be, like, if I were to do a show, I would not do Vanderpump, but if I were to do a show like that same type of docuseries again, I would still be open and honest about my relationship, but I definitely would keep some things that were just for us.
Yeah.
Like, there's a way to be open and truthful, but also just to keep some things
private.
just for, and it's not even about, like, hiding things or, like, not being honest about, like, the state of your relationship, but it's just, like, not everyone has to know every little thing. Like, why can't we just have some things that are for us?
Well, and that's the thing, too. I feel like being, you know, that show having the popularity, you having the popularity that you have, or whatever, you have, you know, people, not only cameras following you around, but like paparazzi and probably people everywhere you go that know who you are and are spying or that's a terrible word, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like listening or following. That's what I was like, no wonder you would have to go away for a month or however long and not charge your phone or disappear. But like, did you get to do that ever as a couple? Like as couples, like, did you ever get to have a moment where it was just like, oh, thank goodness we're just in our own space?
With my ex-boyfriend Carter, the one I was speaking of, which was like toward the end of my time on Vanderpump Rules, we are like, luckily, like he's a very outdoorsy kind of guy. And like, I'm from Michigan and his parents bought a lake house in Georgia. And so it was like, when we had the time, it was like, grab the dogs and go.
Oh, I love that.
When we had the time, you know? So I think that's something that Luke and I, even though we don't even live in the same state, that we're still trying to always focus on like, okay, well, before this next big project comes up or before we have to do this thing,
right?
Like when are we going to like take time out, get out of LA together,
right?
And do something that's like a little more like normal and close to home for us.
And that's like a lake trip. That's like a nature lake. Okay. That's also me time. Like, that's what I feel like. That's like the disconnect. And that's what made me, I was like, this is such a fascinating topic to talk about with somebody who I feel like has been, I mean, filmed, you know, as part of a show, but also just paparazzi wise and everything else, like probably having so many people around or at you or
people have opinions, and they're not afraid to share
how
them.
do you deal with that? But also, like, how does that, of course, and I mean, I guess that's what we're open to being any sort of public figure or in any sort of public situation, but which is why it is so scary. But like how, you know, I mean, you're sort of talking about it, like what brings you back, the dodo, which you and I have both bonded over. But like in your, I need to feel like Kristen again, or even one of the curiosities I had about you too, just in you wrote a book, being on this show would be like how do you like steady yourself beforehand? You know, people have like pre-show rituals, you know, I've talked to like some comedians and people like that or whatever. But is there anything that you do like before the camera starts rolling or any sort of spiritually prep, which we also kind of talked about? There were like so many little things that came up in our interview that I was like, I want to make sure I ask her about that. I want to ask her crystals, whatever, breath work we were talking about or whatever, that just sort of like, okay. And now I'm like ready. I do like a little grounding thing before I even just did it before the interview today. And when I don't do it and I'm in like the middle of like shooting something, I'll be like, oh, I didn't do the thing. What's going to happen? Like I'm a little superstitious like that.
Has it always been a thing that you've done? See, I have a hard time because I have a hard time like now that you're asking that, I'm like, man, what do I do? Because I know what I do when I'm feeling overwhelmed about work or with like that group of friends or like anything that needs to, I guess, get the Hollywood out of me, if you will. I immediately retreat to Venice where one of my best friends lives. And she has a dog and she's a chef and she's just this hippy dippy little fairy, amazing person. And I was there yesterday and we play a board game. We like sit in the backyard. We go through walks on the walk streets and it's just this like complete sense of calm. And she's just like my little fairy spirit animal. So
I love that.
It's just such a different vibe. And so I try to be in Venice at least a few days a week.
So this is one of the things you had asked when we were doing ours was like, is me time, does it always have to be alone? I'm like, no.
Because I feel like I'm alone almost all the time, especially when Luke's not in town.
Right.
So I just get over being like in my apartment with my dogs. Like, let's go to the park. Let me go run errands. And then I'm like, okay, this is so boring.
And how often do you guys get to see each other? Like, I mean, I think you were saying it's a couple of weeks and then usually off maybe like an event or an occasion, like you'll have time together, like obviously on.
Yeah.
Which is,
I don't even know. We've just been trying to figure it out for like a year. So this past like month, he was in town. We finally found a way that we can fly to each other very simply, which is nice. But we both have dogs and that can be really tough.
Right.
His dog can't fly. I have two. That's too hard for me to do.
Right.
So then it's a lot of driving for him. So this past month, he was here for 5 days. He was gone for 5 days. Friends of ours got engaged. So I called him.
I saw that on your Instagram.
I called him and I was like, will you come here tomorrow? Like literally, let's book a flight, come here tomorrow and like be here for the engagement. So he came back for 5 more days, then went home again. And he was like, this is not working. 5 days on, 5 days off. He has stuff to do back in Colorado on his ranch. And we don't want to only be together for 5 days to
Right.
just get some things done.
Right.
So we've tried over the last year to do like a few weeks on, 2 weeks off or something.
Right. Do you all have rules? Do you have like no more than this many
He
days?
does.
Okay.
I just say, I mean, it's unfortunate. Like I do go to Colorado, but not as often.
Right.
It feels a lot easier for him to come here, and we have different things going on. He has like big projects where I feel like I have constant, like, I can't leave because I have this to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I have 2 days off, but then I have to. So it's just like it's just completely different.
Right.
So he just told me yesterday, actually, he's like, I'm going to come this weekend and I'm going to stay for a few weeks.
Oh.
And he's going to drive and bring his dog so we can
that's
start
so
looking
nice.
for we don't want to stay in my apartment because he plans on spending at least the summer here.
That's so nice.
With his dog. So we're like, okay, well, let's try to look for a house to rent. So we have a backyard. It'll like de-stress us with all the dogs. It'll make our lives so much easier.
I love that we are just like now talking about your relationship, but I love this because I feel like it relates to kind of this me time thing of what you just said.
It really does, because then when he's here and we are essentially like living together for months, it will allow us to have our own me time as a couple too. But like meaning like I can go have my me time.
Right.
He can go play golf, go fishing, whatever it is, do stuff he wants to do.
Right.
And it won't be like, well, I want to go with my girlfriends to have a glass of wine. Can you watch all the dogs?
Right.
Where it's this constant like babysitter mode.
Right.
I want him to feel comfortable in California so that we both can have our own me time. So he has time to make his own group of friends out here.
Right.
Too.
That's so important, I feel like, because that would put a lot of pressure, I feel like, on, I mean, you as well, just because it's like you have your routine. You probably have your day to day. And we really have that when we're alone.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like when you spend that much time alone, you kind of have to get like, you know, my therapist always calls it, and like reentry.
Yes.
Like somebody's leaving and then like there's this reentry period where like somebody comes back into the space and you're like, oh, all of this like routine, solo, whatever, you also have another set of eyes on you. It like changes the dynamic completely.
Oh, it absolutely does. And my alone every day is like very much like I know what time I'm getting up.
Right.
If I feel like sleeping in another hour today, no big deal, because my day, these are the things I have to get done. Then my dogs are my priority. Here's where I can fit in going to see a friend, but this is my routine. It's very easy for me. But when another person, like your therapist said, like the re-entry thing, now it's like, okay, so do I still go do all of my stuff, or like because now you're in town, do we spend time together today, or is it still okay? It's just a weird thing we're still trying to figure out. But I think Luke finds so much value in his own me time. Yeah. Especially in California. Yeah. That it urges me, I don't want to say pushes me, but like urges me to do the same.
I love that. He was so open talking about like how he's a me time, just to like he spends a lot of alone time. He's good at alone time, like whatever.
Yeah, he likes it.
And he likes it, which is, but I would also imagine that it would be tough if you're, you know, you have these concentrated periods of time where you're together, so you kind of don't want to miss anything. And then it's like, oh, but I actually do need a little space. I'm uncomfortable kind of asking for that space because like, I know you're leaving in like 2 days, so I should take all the time I should get. But also like, how do we establish these routines? Like, it's actually fascinating. And I'm happy for you both that like he's going to be here for an amount of time now that I feel like you guys can, those things can be established so seamlessly. Right. Versus like, oh,
where it feels like a vacation period, like 5 days of vacation, got to be together 24/7. And that's something I really love about him is he knows that I like to be really social, but he also, even in the 5-day periods that we sometimes have, he just gets up and says, I'm going to the golf range. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I need to go do this. Right. And it's not like, can I? Do you care? He's like, this is what I have to do. Which then allows me my time, because I feel like I'm more the one that's like, well, do you care if I go?
That's
and
me.
He's like, go. Like, whatever.
I feel like we learned from, it's so, when somebody else is so openly like, I'm going to go do this. It's like, oh. Yeah. I can just do it like that.
Right. I can just unapologetically just say, I want to, I need to.
Do you ever have a worry? Like, do you ever have are we spending too much time apart? What am I trying to say? Like, does it have to mean more other than just like, no, this person needs to go play golf for a little while. It's not that this person needs space from me.
Right.
It's like just what they need to go do.
Right.
I have had a tendency, I think I'm better at this now, to be like, oh,
same.
I must have done something like, I'm too much.
Yeah.
I'm being overbearing.
Yeah.
I'm like, this person
I
can't
know.
wait to get away
I used to be
from
the same
me.
way, and I feel like I think it's more with like age and therapy, and maybe it's because I'm in a healthier relationship now. But I think regardless whether I were single or with Luke, I think with age and growing up in therapy, that I've been like, not basically what my therapist says is like, Kristen, not everything's about you.
We're like, wait,
like,
really?
Yeah, like you like
it is though, right?
Don't let that person give you that much power, and also like you don't have that much power.
Yeah.
Like it's like almost a humbling thing, which is so interesting because I'm thinking of it in a way of like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?
Right.
And she's going, no, let's flip the script a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you're not that powerful to like think that everything is about you in a those negative feelings, like it's not about you. It is what it is.
And they're so bad for us because I know me, I'll fixate and obsess, but I'm like that even if it's like a text message that I'm like, oh, I haven't heard back from that person. That's weird. They must not want to hang.
Oh
they
my
must
God,
not
story
want
of my life.
And really it's like, oh, then you get the text from them that's just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. My dog had to go to the vet. I've been stuck for a few hours. It's never about.
Yeah.
It's never about us, even though it'll tank sometimes my entire day about like thinking about these things.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
That's fascinating. You said that's a story of your life as well. So
Yeah.
So you have like I think we're similar probably like that then.
Yeah.
That it's
so something that I used to do a lot, especially when it's like there's this different vibe when I lived in my house. But something I was thinking about yesterday and today that I really need to get back into, especially now that I'm like diving into so much more work. And I'm so grateful for that. But I had, a few years off. And I have this energy healer who, of course, I think gratitude lists are so important.
Yeah.
Because I can find myself just being like, oh, now this thing, like one thing went wrong. Well, now it's this thing and now it's this thing. Instead of going, okay, shit happens and I need to be grateful. But something that she convinced me to do, which I felt was a bit egocentric, but ended up being really helpful, was a list of things I'm good at.
Hey, I love that.
And I really noticed a huge shift in myself when I was doing that. And I think because like this was years ago when I was doing it, but it was one of the greatest years of my life. I think one of the most like positive like years of progress that I had ever had. And it was every morning I just wrote down set an alarm for 5 minutes. And it would be as many things I could write down that I'm good at.
Wow.
And then later on in the day, it was like, take 5 more minutes and now write down my gratitude list.
Wow.
But it got a little difficult in the beginning of like, what am I good at? I'm like, oh, I'm good at simple math. I'm really fast at it. Like I'm a really good speller. I'm a good dog mom. I'm a loyal friend. And then, after like day 7, I wrote down 3 things in 5 minutes. But like maybe day 2, I wrote down like 25.
And you think like this was you said it was one of the best years of your life. Mm-hmm. And this like, that's how you woke up every day?
Every day, yeah. I was allowed to like brush my teeth, make a coffee, let my dogs out, but like no checking the emails, no looking at my phone, nothing.
I love this.
Nothing, no TV, whatever. It was just like, go sit down. It's 5 minutes. And I'm
right.
like, 5 minutes is a really long time in the morning.
But it sets tone.
It's 5 minutes.
For your whole day and like well-being. I love that. I don't really have like a morning practicey thing like that. Yeah. I mean, I have maybe little things I might say to myself, but I think putting pen to paper is always like makes it great. Like it's like watering a plant versus
it really ingrains it into my brain.
Yeah.
For sure.
And what prompted whoever this energy healer at the time, and you said there were like 3 years there where it was like you had off, and we kind of talked about this in our interview too, which was like something that it's so funny because you were like, at first I was like, and then by the end I was like, 3 things right away, which is so funny because I remember when we were talking in the interview we did, at first you were just like, I don't really know what my me time is. I don't have a thing. And by the end you were like, wait a second. I was like, you have like, you're like the master of me time, but you also have so much of it.
Yeah.
Like that was, I think, the thing that like, because my friend Tim, who I had on as well, we talked about his actual me time is connection. Mm-hmm. Like and in his situation, he had a stroke years ago. And so his way now of sort of feeling like connected to anything, because at first he was like, honestly, my phone is my thing I can't live without because it's my thing that connects me to the world. Like his is the complete opposite of disconnection. But it was interesting because I feel like you start at that place of sort of like, I don't really know what my thing is. And then I was like, she's like a genius. She's like a master of this. Totally.
Yeah, I think it is just because of like all the alone time where I'm like, am I going to make this worth my while? Like, and it's okay to have like a day off or a lazy day or a rainy day in bed type of a thing. But like, that can't become a thing.
Right.
And so what else is there to do that can be like more fulfilling or more positive?
Right.
Like, so I don't get stuck when I do. Because a lot of, as an entrepreneur, but also as like someone in entertainment, when you're not working.
Yeah.
And you're looking for things to keep yourself creative, keep yourself busy, keep yourself moving and shaking, which I'm so grateful for, like everyone just loving this podcast platform so much now because it is a way for us to do that. And so it's like, I need to have like this project, but make sure that I know how to split my time.
Right. Between each one.
Enough.
Right. Do you have, was there something that prompted you sort of said it in your like a better way to start the day, but was there you said there were like 3 years where you weren't working, and obviously in those times, and I think we both had this kind of same halt happen around like the pandemic as well. So there's like a whole other set of, that takes alone time, everything to like another level. But was there something that prompted this sort of like healer, I need a new practice, I need to try something new? It
was a breakup. I mean, it was like debating on the breakup. It was like, how do this person didn't do anything wrong, quote unquote, right? There's no cheating. There's no abuse of any kind of, of course not physical, but meaning like we've been together for so long, like, but nothing's happening. Does it need to happen? Do I need the ring? Like, where are we going with this? And it just kind of felt like it was sucking me dry a little bit, and neither of us were like happy, but we kept being like, but we can be. And I'm like, just something's not right. Right. And a friend of mine I had gone to see like a tarot card reader, and I'm just reaching for all the straws in the spirituality book, going like, what can I do? So I'm like, I'm open to whatever. Right. So I see this energy healer, and I'm open to what she has to say. I've never done this before. And she kind of, within our time together, gave me this thing, I don't want to call it an analogy, but this thing that she does where she was like, she, speaks to her people, spirit. Yeah, exactly. And she said that relationship I was in was like a 2 out of 4. It was like a 50%. Oh. And she was like, so with that, you're now only giving and receiving 50% in everywhere else in your life. In your career, in your friendships, in your happiness, and just everything.
Oh, so interesting.
You need to like find someone. And there was no like list or checkoff thing that made him this 50%, right? It was just whatever she was feeling in that moment. Right. So it just really made me think like, well, what can I do then to like find my 100%? But it's like, well, how about instead of trying to find your 100% person, you start working on the things that are important to you to like raise your frequency, like raise your vibrations up. So that's when she recommended that. And I think the number she gave me was like, I could stop when I got to like, I want to say it was like 292. And
292 what?
Things that I like about myself. And I'm going, are you out of your damn mind? 292, like, let me whip out my thesaurus. Loyal.
25 words that are the same
that
as
mean
loyal. Yeah.
That mean loving. That mean, I'm going like, how in the hell? Like, what I'm like, I'm tall.
Right.
So I don't know. My hair holds on to extensions really well. But like, I'm losing my mind trying to reach these numbers.
But I love how much it made you think about you.
Yeah.
I love that even if it's just, I hold extensions really well.
Right.
For that 4 seconds.
Because it's interesting for me it was, and I think for a lot of people to like, it's about self-love and not the ego, and not like what makes you cool, right? Or what
makes everybody else
less than,
what
makes everybody else less than, or what makes everyone else
perceive
look at you.
Exactly right.
It's like, how do you feel about you?
Right, because you have to sleep with you at night.
Yeah, and wake up in the morning to you.
Yeah,
and so who do you want to be and where do you see yourself? And then, what's so great about you? Because self-love is like the most important. I mean, it's like, how many times have we heard in our lives, you can't love anyone else if you don't love yourself.
But I mean, it's sort of based on what your healer said, at the same time. If you're like not fully aware of like what all those things might be in you, it's very hard to then, as they always say, like attract, like you're going to kind of attract at that level versus like, oh, I feel more whole and I feel more, I mean, I'm literally still really trying to figure all this out for myself, but
aren't we all though?
I mean, yes, and every step, and we're all in where we are on our, journey with that, or I've started to say adventure instead of journey.
I love that.
It feels like,
Journey is so like Bachelor.
The Bachelor ruined the word journey for me. I'm like, it's so, every single thing, that in every interview, they're like, remember to say journey. It's a journey.
Yes.
So every single person is like, I'm so glad to be on this journey. I'm so glad to be on this journey. And I'm like, I love the word journey, but I can't do it anymore.
I love adventure so much more.
So and it's funny because as I was doing this podcast and I was trying to record the trailer for it, I'd be like, journey is the perfect word here. And every time I wanted to say journey, I just replaced it with adventure because I'm like, that's what it is. It's what it is.
It is an adventure.
Yeah.
An adventure, I feel like journey gives you like an ending. But like adventure doesn't.
Yeah. It's like, let's just see where this goes. Versus like, like you said,
this
beginning,
journey will
end.
eventually come to an end.
Right. Yeah.
Because they do say that on The Bachelor. Like, this journey has come to an end. Who do you choose in 3 weeks as your wife? I don't know. I'm in love with all 3 of them, so it's a really tough pick.
Oh, yeah. Tough, man. I know. I wonder if they started saying adventure.
Hope he chooses me. No, I'm like trademarking, coining this Maggie Lawson me time adventure.
Yes. Adventure out. This is the
Bachelor Nation. You do not get to steal this. I will call you out.
I know. I don't want them to take it, even though I'm sort of curious because I kind of believe in work. Do you believe in like? Okay, I believe in, as you're talking about these lists and things, the words that we use. And I'm like, I wonder if they just started using the word adventure, if it would change the outcome. I wonder if like you just started putting a different, if we just start putting a different like thought or spin on something. I mean, I'm not saying
it would give like a different intention.
Because that's what it all actually comes down to usually, right? I feel like, anyway, I don't know. I mean, it's something interesting. Like I get nervous if I read a script that's like called The Losers or like The Zeros.
Right.
Or I'm using like titles I've seen in the past and I'm like, oh, I know it probably says what it needs to say, but I'm always like, oh, this is probably not going to end well.
Yeah.
This is probably not getting picked up. This is probably, I believe in like titles and words and things.
Yeah.
But journey, I love that you share that.
It's so frustrating.
I'm so done. Like, anyway, but I'm with you. I don't want them to pick my word now. No. I'm going to use that. That's my me time word now.
It's like IP rights now. You said it first.
I did. Do I get money every time somebody says it now? Yes. Is that the deal?
Yes.
I like this. I have so many things like I kind of wanted to go back to because I was like, this idea around, unfortunately, I feel like it usually is a thing that prompts us into these kind of like, getting to know ourselves better or like I need to change my life kind of things. Like it's never just like I wake up one day and I'm like, I'm going to make the changes today. It's a breakup. It's for me, I talked about like my dog dying a year and a half ago or whatever, that I still feel like I'm just in this, I mean, I'm definitely better now, but I do feel like that was probably the biggest one I've ever had, and my divorce being the other.
Right.
But we're always like, it takes these things sometimes to just like totally turn everything upside down.
Oh, yeah.
And then with like Luke now. So like going into, I mean, is this okay to talk about? I just love talking. I'm just like going into like a new relationship and like, do you feel, was there, and this might be too much information actually, but was there a space, like from that 3-year period to like Luke now, was there anyone, I mean, obviously I'm sure you dated, but was there anything that was like intense?
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
There was, should I know this?
There was
like,
no, not at all. No, there was a guy I started dating. So post my ex-boyfriend, which was like we broke up like 2019. I stayed like single, meaning like, I was kind of like still with him a little bit, like here and there because it's comfort and it's easy. And then I was like, oh, I'm single now, AKA I'm just like hooking up with my friends or like dating around or whatever. Right. And then I end up dating this guy that I'd known for a few years, never looked at or thought of that way. And it seemed, I was very hesitant in saying like, nope, we're not going on a date. We're just hanging out. And there was like months of that.
Right.
And he stuck around and was like charismatic and charming and cool and smart and very opposite of everything I was as career-wise, into like finance and real estate and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I thought this was like the universe going, see, try this out. This is someone very, like, not someone you would normally go for. Maybe this is like the grown-up version of who you should be with. And so I gave it a try, and we had a good like year probably. Oh. And then stayed together for another year. That was not so great, but I didn't realize it until after he broke up with me. So I sold my house, moved into his house.
Oh, wow.
Lived together for like 5 months. He broke up with me multiple times during those 5 months and eventually was like, we're done, get out. And I was so codependent on that relationship. I didn't see it at the time, but I started changing everything about myself. Because I wasn't doing the show anymore. And I still had my clothing line, and he just thought it was like, you know, kind of like a hobby. And he thought I should be doing more with my life. And like something that stuck in my mind for a long time was like, you know, it was like he went from being like head over heels for me to like, yeah, I mean, no, you're great, but like you could be like a little more like a polished version of yourself.
You could be better. You can just be better.
Yeah, like be you, but like better. And I listened. Hard. And then I didn't realize until after the breakup, I actually met Luke like 2 weeks later in Colorado, obviously. And then we just were connected on the phone for a while. But because Luke and I started getting very vulnerable with each other, and I was telling him about this relationship with this narcissist, and Luke said, like, I'm going to be honest. He's like, from a guy's perspective and from someone getting to know you, like my perspective, he goes, I feel like you just had your eye on the prize. And that prize was, I'm getting older, I need a baby, and I need a ring, and I need to be married. Yeah. He's like, therefore, you abandon all things that were you. Yep. Because this is the person you were going to be with. You didn't want to start over again. You didn't want to go through all this again. Right. So you just abandoned who you were, and then eventually, like, it made neither of you happy.
Right. Of course.
Because you were. I essentially turned into like a shell of myself.
Yeah. And that's not happy for you. No. But at the same time, do you feel like Luke's right?
Absolutely. And I'm like, couldn't be more grateful that this guy literally, like, I wouldn't have left. I think I would have stayed for as long as he would have let me.
Wow.
And I would have just, I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe I would have had a wake up call at some point.
Wow.
But I was just like, I'm here.
You were in it to win it.
Yeah.
Like in that, like it didn't matter. Like all the red flag, all the things that were coming up that were like, this isn't good. This doesn't feel good. It's okay. It's okay. Because
this is better for me. Like he knows what's best for me.
Oh.
You know?
Right.
He must know what's better for me.
Right.
Look how successful he is.
Right.
Like I should just listen. And it was like, what the hell? Like I went from being this like fairy flighty Aquarian butterfly who does not want my wings clipped to like,
putting yourself literally back in the
chained into like a little shell. Which I don't fully blame on him. I made those choices too.
Of course, we have to,
But it was like, well, why can't I just be who I am and find someone who loves me for who I am? And then, you always compromise in a partnership, of course. But why am I having to like clip my wings and be this, essentially what this ex-boyfriend considered to be the better version of me, I felt was this completely dumbed down, like shadowed version of me.
I feel like that's always a reflection too on like the other. It's hard to see it at the time, but it's always like their pain, their insecurity, and their safety. It's sort of like, I want you to be like this because it'll make me feel safe.
Yes.
I'm in pain. I'm insecure. I'm scared of you being this other way that you are because I don't really know how to. So be this way I want you to be so that I feel okay. And it comes out in like the worst ways, even though it's like, oh, this is all your shit.
Yeah, this is your shit. I mean, that's kind of when I learned the thing I was saying earlier from my therapist about the power thing.
Right.
Was something that I learned within that relationship because he was, the guy that was like, well, I wouldn't have done this had you not done this, Kristen.
Right.
Like if you hadn't have acted or said this thing, then I wouldn't have. And so it's like that gnarly narcissistic relationship that got my brain going because I'm such an empath.
Right.
And I don't want anyone to ever feel hurt or or not heard or anything of that nature. And my therapist finally was like, what the hell is he giving you so much power for? As if you have control over his reactions or actions for that matter.
It's like, look what you made me do. It's like, you're a grown-ass man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody's making it. But I
like really lost myself. I honestly didn't have any me time in that relationship. It was right toward the end of that relationship was when I quit smoking cigarettes. And I did it for me, but because I wanted to get pregnant and I knew that was what I saw as like a possibility in my future. And my doctor was like, well, we got to cut that out first, you know?
Right.
But I really did it for him because it was like his non-negotiable when we first started dating, and I was still doing it 2 years later. But I noticed it was like, even when I did that, like that wasn't enough. And this thing wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. But I noticed my me time, now that I'm thinking about it, especially when I moved in with him, was kind of just like cleaning the house and like, what do you want for dinner? And should I go grocery shopping? And like watching my dogs while he's working in his office.
Right.
And then sitting out on our patio and like chain smoking cigarettes and like thinking about life, going like, this sucks. Like, what am I even doing? Where's my creativity?
Right.
Like, that's what I thrive on.
Well, it's interesting. I think that's, you know, it's hard when you're in a situation like that's also hard when you're like living with somebody too. But that it almost takes like, well, I would say like, in your case, maybe like the chain smoking, the cigarettes and having that moment to like have something yank you out of it for a second and just look back and be like, whoa, like the only thing I think about now is you and this and everything kind of being okay or what you might need or what you're feeling.
Essentially, like I didn't have, now again, like I think about it, I didn't really have me time because even my me time was like going out with my girlfriends, getting out of that house and having wine on Wednesdays. I was pretty much talking about him and the relationship and my unhappiness.
The whole time.
And then hearing him complain about how, well, you shouldn't drink wine on a Wednesday. That's for Saturdays.
Oh,
I'm
my
like,
goodness.
I'm sorry, what era do we live in and what state do we live in? Because I actually don't go out on Saturdays, but cool.
And you're like, that's my night that I watch like, my romantic comedies.
Right. And I didn't have time
never got to
watch rom-coms. I didn't have time to take my dogs on a walk by myself or just breathe in nature or go on a trip by myself.
Right. So
I lost a lot of the me in there. So I think that's something that I realized post that relationship and, you know, meeting someone like Luke and meeting someone so adventurous and such a loner kind of in a way.
Yeah.
Who's also very social. I'm like, oh, like Luke values his me time so much and he puts that on me. He's like, do something for yourself.
Right.
Go.
And then
I don't want to come with you to hang out with your girlfriends today. Go.
Well, sometimes it's easier to not have to think about what that thing is. That's like, what do I want to do today? Mm-hmm. Like, that's what I felt like that time in those years in the pandemic and whatever kind of were for me a little. I was like, wow, I mean, I talk about it on this podcast. I'm 42 and I'm in this place right now still of like, who are you here and now? Right. Like, we're so different, right? But like that, then we were. And also this thing that you mentioned a little bit of like, oh, you had your eye on the like you were sort of like, oh, I need the baby, I need the thing or whatever. Because you reach a certain age and you feel like if those bells and whistles aren't going off, if you're just chilling and dating like you always have, you're almost like, am I being irresponsible?
Right.
But that's what I want to do. I want to take my time and get to know this person. I want to but I don't want everything to have to always be like, oh, so if we're not doing this, we got to go.
Right.
Because
like it's such a societal thing of like, we've reached this age, you're supposed to just like have your shit together.
Yeah.
And like, be a responsible adult, but I mean, life changes so often and so quickly in the world and in our own lives and with our own families and friends and significant others or lack thereof. Like, we have to be able to like move with the changes and move with the times. And it's like, some people have babies at 40, some people have them at 20 and they live out their 20s and their 40s, like my sister does, you know? And it's like, who's to say the right or the wrong?
Right. It's not. I feel like it's all.
But there's a lot of pressure when you're our age. Like,
there's naturally. It's just naturally.
Are we supposed to retire at 60?
Yeah.
And like, well, I don't want to retire at 60 because I actually enjoy working and being creative.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I don't see a day I'd ever stop. I'd ever stop kind of working or moving or I mean, but I'm like you. I don't know. Like
But
we don't know.
We
Like
don't know what we don't know.
Exactly, 100%. Okay. Well, I have a couple of things I want to like ask you anyway, just as part of the me time in the podcast, because I want to know your favorite like the 3 favorite things. You know, you just brought it up with the last relationship. This is such for me, I know at this point in my life, like that is key. It feels so almost like selfish or ego, like whatever to say, but is like, if I don't have that, if I leave that, I think I said at the end of your podcast when you're like, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. Like if I leave myself, that's when I know for me. I think that's different for everybody. It's like, of course we don't want to abandon ourselves, but of course there's like compromise and there are things that you have to do. Yeah. But I know there is a limit for me where I'm like, oh, if I hit this point, if I have neglected myself this much, I might not come back. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to kind of know when I don't know.
What that tipping point is.
Yeah. It's more a feeling. Okay. So 3 favorite things you absolutely cannot live without right now. More if you want to add, but I like 3 if I want at least 3.
Okay. Well, my dogs.
100%.
I absolutely cannot live with them.
Can I ask what kind of dogs?
Yeah.
Tell me about what kind of dogs.
Oh, I have a Yorkie. He's 7.5. I call him a Yorkshire terrorist. He's like the cutest thing. He's an absolute pain in the ass. Cute. He's so smart and so sassy and hilarious and just a giant pain in my ass. And I love him. His name's Gibson Nix.
Wait, he's how old?
He's 7.5. He acts like a puppy, but yeah, his name's Gibson Nix.
Nix.
The Gibson guitar and Stevie Nicks.
It's just because it feels like a musical reference. Yeah. I love it.
And then Bowie, I rescued him when Gibson was 1. So I've had Bowie 6.5 years. I don't know how old he is, about probably 13 or 14 at this point. So yeah, named after David Bowie. And he's the cutest Cheagle in the world. He's a Beagle, Chihuahua, something mix.
Oh my God, a Cheagle?
So he's like an oversized Chihuahua or a very small Beagle. That's what I call him.
I love that your whole life is kind of, you're like, it's like, here's some work and then my dogs. Like yes, I totally relate to that. Yeah. I mean, I don't have another dog since Peanut yet, but
when you're ready.
The exact same way. Yeah. All right. So your dogs, 100% cannot live without. I get, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't live without Luke. I mean, I guess I can. You can live without a person, but like I prefer not to.
That is so sweet. Luke, when you're back, you're coming on this show. That's very sweet to say. Yeah. I love that you.
I can't live without sunshine.
So LA's been tough for you over the last few months.
Yeah.
I was like, today I'm like, I'm putting you in a podcast booth on the first day. Yeah, it's like sunny.
I just thrive like being outside and being in the sun. There's just something about natural light that completely shifts my day. And I think that's been my tough thing about this apartment I've been in for years. Like there's no natural light in there. And I'm just like, I'm so grateful. I have a roof over my head. I have a nice 2-bedroom apartment. It's so wonderful. It's in the perfect part of town. I'm grateful, but Jesus Christ, like I need to get out of here. Yeah. Because I'm not thriving in that environment.
Are you moving?
We're looking to, because he's going to be spending more time here, we're looking to rent a house.
Nice.
So we have a backyard for the dogs.
Great.
Ease our lives completely and give us, more creative space.
All right. That's good.
We need space. So yeah, sunshine. Can't live without my veggies.
Oh yeah, you're vegetarian. What's your favorite veggie?
Broccoli.
Broccoli?
I could live on broccoli. If I were like on death row and they were like, what do you want for your very last meal?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm like, I don't know that anybody would say, I don't know anyone I love that you love broccoli. Yeah. It's the hardest vegetable for me. Like,
is it really?
Oh my God, it's so funny.
Yeah. My dogs love it too. Like it makes me so happy.
That is so cute.
It's like, raised them right. I'm doing something right, Mom.
Death row meal. Broccoli. I think first in history. I don't know that anybody's ever said that before. Okay, I love that.
I could live without just music in general.
So the Gibson, the Stevie Nicks, and the Bowie. Okay. You're like a huge music person.
Yes.
Are you a festival person? Like concert person?
Yes, live music for sure. Festivals, it's changed over the years for me.
Yeah.
I still enjoy a good festival once in a while, but I'm not like, oh my God, like I haven't been to Coachella in years. Like I don't speak the Gen Z. I don't get it.
What are you listening to, right? Like what is your like current, I mean, I know because of like
Taylor
streaming.
Swift. I'm a total Swiftie. Yeah. I like country. I like everything but heavy metal.
Okay.
I don't like heavy metal at all.
Okay.
I love emo.
Yeah.
I went to the When We Were Young emo fest last year, and that was just epic.
Oh, how fun.
It was really good.
Oh my God.
I love 90s pop rock.
Same.
Like Third Eye Blind. That's like one of my favorite bands. So it's
I love
it's
that.
all across the spectrum. And of course, classic rock. I mean, is my favorite.
I love this. This is great.
Yeah.
Music is a me time thing, I feel like, for sure.
Starts my day. Like I have a morning playlist, wake up, morning playlist goes on, dance with my dogs in the kitchen, make them breakfast, make me breakfast.
Oh my God.
It has to happen.
I love it. You dance in the morning.
Yes.
I'm a morning music person too.
Yeah. It's like it starts the tone of the day. Like if you're listening to something like happy.
100%. I need a good beat in the morning.
Yeah.
I like a little I like to bring it down a little bit at night.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what's happening.
What do you listen to?
It depends. I mean, I'm so all over the place right now. I almost want to look at my Spotify because I feel like half the time I just Shazam songs. I was looking at, I've been watching this show called Drops of God, which is about wine. Anyway, the music on there is great. Oh, I've been listening to, is it Bjorn's? Do you say this right? I just downloaded the song Clouds.
Bjorn? Yeah.
Bjorn's. I've been listening to, I have that Golden Hour, that Jake song I love so much. This song called The Rope. I listened to Taylor Swift. I've got, I don't know why, I just recently came back to the song We Are Young, Fun.
Love that song.
Yes.
Fun is amazing. He has the most brilliant voice.
Amazing. Yep. And I heard it recently and I'm like, man, if I had a put me in a good mood kind of anthem-y start the day song, even though it's years old.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all over the place, but, and then I do a lot lot of I'm a 90s hip hop kind of person.
Oh yeah. 90s hip hop. Yeah. Eminem I love.
Yeah. Same Eminem.
Yeah. It really depends on my mood. What do I need right now?
Yeah.
Sometimes I need just Pink. On Pink. Blast to I'm a strong, independent woman.
Yeah. Pink is the best for that.
It really is.
The absolute She's best amazing. For that. Mary J. Blige, that's another one that I'll put on that's always puts me in a good mood. But Pink is it covers a lot. It's emotive. It's rock. It's groovy and dancey, and also, as you said, kind of empowering.
Yeah, it's very empowering.
Yeah.
And yet she's still a wife and a mom.
Yeah.
But she's just this badass who is willing to say and do exactly how she feels and how she's thinks.
Completely authentic.
And I'm oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm I love Pink. Do you want to hear a funny story? Oh my God, I can't believe I just thought of this. So my first tattoo ever, I was 18. I found this. I used to read Guitar World magazine. I used to play guitar a lot more in my younger years.
Oh.
And there was a picture. It was an ad for something, I think. And it was a picture of this girl's back, and she had tattoos on her back. And on her shoulder, there was a fairy with the fairy's hand out blowing it looked like a shooting star kind of. It was almost like a star with little flames.
Yeah.
And I was oh, I really like the way that shooting star looks. So I cut it out of the magazine and put it in my wallet when I was 16 and a half. And I was if I still want this at 18, then I'll get it.
So responsible.
And I kept it. So when I was 18, I go and get the tattoo. And it's a tramp stamp on my lower back, of course, that went with my Frankie B jeans.
Of course.
And then I cannot remember how many years later, it was probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago that I realized what that tattoo was. And it was actually Pink. It was her tattoo on her shoulder.
Stop it.
I have part of her tattoo now as a tramp stamp.
Pink, that's how much we love you.
Oh my God. I could not believe it.
That's so, and you had no idea.
No.
Oh my God. Wait, how did you discover it? You saw it on her shoulder?
Yeah, I don't remember if I was looking.
Oh my God.
I was probably down some rabbit hole about tattoos, celebrity tattoos, or I was looking something up on her and reading an interview, and then how many tattoos does she have? And I just remembered seeing that on her shoulder, and I was no fucking way.
Yeah. Yes, way.
Did I steal part of her tattoo and get it as a tramp stamp?
Okay.
22 years ago.
That is such a good story, and we're talking about this right now. I don't know that we're going to get better of an ending on that, and yet I feel like I have so much more I want to talk to you about. Kristen, I have a million more questions for you, and I want to have you back. I would love to have Luke back when he's back as well. I love that I looked at the chair as if it's that's his chair and he's not here. Luke, we want to have you back, but because I want to talk about the couples thing too, because I love that. But I thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This has been so much fun.
The sweetest, most open, I really hope your clothing line is back.
Yeah. We're literally, I essentially like zeroed the site out because we're coming back with a boom.
Okay. I love
Big
that.
bang. Yeah.
Yes. And it's new and it's fresh and it's you now.
Yes.
I
it's
love
me
this.
now. That's actually, you know what? I'm going to like write that down and
Yeah.
it'll be like in my email to all my James May people. We're going back to why I started the line to begin with.
The why. I have a friend. She's like this incredible businesswoman. And she always says that. She's like, always remember your why.
Mm-hmm.
And then go back to it when you have. So there. It's you're going back.
Yes.
But it's going to be new.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you so much. You're
Thank
just
you
an
for
absolute
having me.
doll. I
This
love
has
you
been
so
so
much.
much fun.
And thank you for and I cannot wait to drink this
Yes.
tonight. And I'm going to actually
let me know how much you love
I'm
it.
gonna talk all about
And
it.
when I get the red, I'll pass it on.
I
to
want
you
the
as well.
red too. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, guys.